Hey folks, back out Flies RC. All right, we're out here at the Avon Park Field. We're going to do the Maiden on the DYNAM ME262 plane, jet, EDF. This is the Maiden flight. Mama's not feeling well, so she asked to stay home. I'm like, well, sure, you know. I said, now if she was sick, obviously I wouldn't be here, but she said, no, I just got a tummy ache. I just don't really feel like it. I'm like, okay. I said, well, then I'll just have to do the Maiden on my own. And that's what we're doing, but that's okay. We will overcome. Okay.
Manual mode, AS3X mode.
All right, we're gonna take off. Got a 5000 roaring top in there. Check CG and everything. Everything looks good. Everything's level. This is the Maiden flight, 3.5 minutes. All right, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Make sure we're filming real quick. And we are, because I am still kind of nervous. I mean, this is a Maiden flight. Make sure I got everything right. All right. Now the ME262, you don't want her to get up in the air real quick. You want to just kind of ease into it.
The gear is coming down. The gear is tucked away.
Not bad.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
The left aileron needed for trim.
Manual mode. AS3X mode.
All right, I think she's fine on trim.
The gear is coming down. Time remaining 2 minutes.
All right, that tells me how she's going to land. All right, let's see how flaps look.
Landing flaps. The flaps are up.
She definitely does want to rise. Not bad. Almost kept her on the runway. And it's windy. Not bad at all. She does need a little bit of down elevator. Deploying flaps, I didn't know she could rise a little bit. And it's kind of hard to really tell anything today given how windy it is. All right, we'll do takeoff flaps and see if she gets up in the air a little bit fast. Let me shake these nerves off. But so far, so good. Stay on that center line.
The flaps are up.
Yeah.
The gear is tucked away.
Oh man, yeah. That takeoff flaps, even though those little flaps are small, they're very effective. Does look like she needs a little bit of rudder in the turns.
Time remaining 1 minute.
Very light plane.
The gear is coming down.
All right. Can definitely see her, no problem.
Landing flaps.
cross breeds no problem. Kinda. Man, look at my wind. Look at my flags right here. All right, got 33 seconds left on a 3.5 minute timer. Let's, that's good for a Maiden. At least I've got her trimmed now. I know she's trimmed out. All right. Man, look at the wind turning her. Let's see if I can.
30 seconds.
Never a good idea to Maiden a plane on a windy day. But if I wait for the great day to fly in Maiden planes, I'll never fly. All right, pause the flight, take it back to the bench, and we'll talk about her. Real quick though, real quick, take a look at this thing. Look how beautiful that plane is. That is a gorgeous plane. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm sorry, but you know, after we all saw the unboxing and build, I want to see if you can get in close here. Look at that foam. Look very close at that foam, okay? Look very close to that foam. I'm sorry, that's E-flite and FMS quality. I mean, that foam is tight and strong and very light. Very light. I mean, I'm very impressed with this. All right, let's go back to bench. All righty, we're back. As you can see, my flags. It's windy. It's very windy, and this thing just rocking sitting here on this table. But like I said, if you wait for the perfect day to fly, guess what? You'll never fly. Okay, and now at least I know how this thing's going to handle the wind. Now this doesn't have telemetry. I don't have telemetry receiver and all that. So I got to check the battery the old fashioned way, and be honest with you, that's how I prefer to check it anyways. All right, we'll talk about CG and stuff. All right. Oh gosh, I got 54% left. I was trying to be conservative because it's twin 70 motors, okay, twin, and 5,000. I set the time for 3.5 minutes, so at 3 minutes of flying, and I still got 54%, okay? So, set your timer for 4 minutes and have at it. 4 minutes is good for a jet. That's excellent for a jet. Let me show you, let me put the back on real quick, because I got to show you some stuff in the plane where DYNAM did make some mistakes. Not huge mistakes, but definitely mistakes. Okay. First off, let's talk about the plane rates, and then we'll talk about AS3X. I have an I have a Spectrum forward programmed receiver in there, but it's a AR63770T, AR637TA. Okay, got the dual antenna diversity because there is some distance involved, so I wanted the two antennas to help make sure I'm not gonna lose signal, which I hardly ever really have any issue at all, especially with Spectrum. All right, the rates that I just flew in were my high rates. Aileron 100%, 30% expo, as you can see. Elevator 100%, 30% expo, and rudder 100% with 40% expo. Okay, a little more expo to help with steering. Okay, now AS3X, I did modify the AS3X settings to where I like to fly jets. Gains are set at 1 time. Okay, on roll, pitch, and yaw is 40, 50, and 60. That I left at default. Okay, for priority, however, the default's 140. I like the priorities on jets to be all 100 at roll, pitch, and yaw. My stop lock, the default's 35. I got it at 50 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Release rate, however, I have it at default to 55, 55, and 75 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Gains are set at 1. I only have 6 channels. I would need a 7th channel if I want to split the nose wheel and give it a nose wheel gyro, but Spectrum doesn't make a 7-channel receiver. You either have to go 6 or you go 8, and that's an additional 35, 40 bucks. So I just said, no, I'll just steer the thing. Put in a little more expo on the nose and not worry with it. All right, well, that takes care of this part of it. We've already talked about how much I had left in the battery. Let's talk about CG. CG on the plane is 120 to 115 millimeters back from the leading edge root. Leading edge root always refers to where the wing touches the fuse. You know, because a leading edge is the edge of the wing, the root is where it touches the wing. Now that's important for jets because oftentimes they have swept wing, okay? But it's 115 to 120, and she CG's slightly nose heavy to level there. Okay, which with this type of traditional wing design, that's what you want. Now, if she was a delta wing, you know, a Death Dorito, and they went back to most of your wing mass is towards the back, then you'd want it to be level to slightly favoring tail heavy, because that helps with your high alpha landings and that type of plane. Also makes it a little more efficient flying in that type of plane. But with a regular traditional wing, okay, like this is, you're going to want level to favoring nose heavy. Okay, now we'll talk about the things I like about the plane, which is many, and we'll talk about the things I don't like about the plane. Okay, oh, and by the way, this plane comes to me by FPV Builds RC up in West Babylon, New York. Hey, Anthony, I paid for the plane in that we traded. Okay, we traded for a plane. I traded him a very used, hanger-rashed, very much hanger-rash, Carbon ZT28, my big yellow one, but I have flown the dog mess out of him. And that's, he's told me about a year or so ago of the planes he hopes to acquire in his life, that his bucket list, and that was one of them. And I said, okay. I said, tell you what, when you get them version 3, ME262, how about we swap? So he jumped on it. And he said, and keep your receiver. He said, because I do all Fly Sky, or whatever, how you say it, Fursky, or whatever it is he sells. And I said, okay, so actually the receiver in here is the receiver that was in the T28. I just factory reset it and bound it up to here. Okay, now, the things I don't like about the plane. Number one, they did not, the strap that they included, they had 2 straps in here. The straps they included won't even reach over the recommended 5,000 battery, won't even come close. That's the straps that they had if you had a 4, because this used to run on 4S. That's for that. So they should have swapped out and put a longer strap in. That was a big miss, okay? The other thing is, I don't know if this is a miss or a miss on my part, when the 2 leads that come out for the throttle, I couldn't find, you have to put them into a Y to plug them into your throttle. Well, I couldn't find the Y. It may still be in the box. It may be on that messy desk I've got. I just set it down, and I lost track of it, but I don't know where it's at, okay? So that's that. The other thing I don't like, in DYNAM, and you need to pay attention to this, okay? In these new competition of jets, all these jets coming out, it's hard to find one now that does not have suspension gear, okay? You have got a great controller, a very reliable, your retracts are now right up there with any other brand, if not better, as far as reliability now with your new controller. However, go ahead and I mean, I'll pay another 10 bucks if you'll give me suspension gear. You need to invest in suspension gear. If you do that, DYNAM, man, it'll be jam up, absolutely jam up. Okay. That's the things I don't like about it, okay? It needs suspension gear. It needs to make sure we got the right strap and make sure that the stuff is labeled. And also, another thing, DYNAM, come on with your instructions. Y'all have got to get modern on your instructions. You kind of started with the Tucano, but you need to get better instructions, not just some cheesy black and white photo with a little bitty script at the bottom saying, you know, vaguely what to do. Go ahead and make a decent manual, okay? You do those things, you know, and you're going to be jammed up. Now, and also paint between these hinges. I mean, when you drop these hinges and you drop these control surfaces, you still got the bare foam. Take the time to paint that. That's just a little, you're already there, Okay, they're just a little extra step will go a long way. All right, now off my soapbox about that. Now let's talk about the things I like about the plane. Number one, she appears to be very easy on the suggested 5,000 as far as economy and efficiency. Great, plenty of power, plenty of power. She handles this crazy wind with no problem at all. Okay, I flew some of that in manual mode, which means I had no gyro. She was affected a little bit by the wind, but not bad. The gear are awesome, but the number one thing, and that I have found this because I got a couple of new dynams, this new mold, this new foam. It's the same mold, but this new foam you're using, I guess you're leaving it in the mold, letting it cook longer, but this mold, this foam is not that real porous, dry foam that you've been putting out. This foam is super hard, super dense. It's like a free wing model or an E-Flight model. I mean, actually it's better than an E-Flight model. I got the Sportix over there and its foam is much more porous. This is very tight, very dense, and not only is the paint looking great, you got a clear coat on this thing already. Just making it look that much better. The hatch, the locking mechanism is nice and tight and strong, okay? You've already got the ball links. All the ball links are already all hooked up, okay? No glue needed for this model. Bolt here, bolt there. 2 bolts to hold on the wing, the fuselage. Oh yeah, you do have to glue in both sides of the elevator. And you give the glue for that, okay? Ball links are already, all the control rods or control arms were already hooked up. Oh, and yes, I know about Brian Phillips' film where his EDF came on. I checked these, they were fine. Apparently they watched the film too. E-Flight watched the film. The pilot looks better. The decals, the fit and finish is 70% better than what you were putting out before. I mean, you sold a good plane before. People had to do a little work, you know, a little bit of to do it, but it was acceptable. Okay, it's still a great flying plane because you're saving 30 or 40%, you know, off the price compared to its contemporary. But I'll tell you what, this plane, awesome, absolutely awesome. Now let's talk about. I told you in the build that I would go over the wiring because I was a little confused and I got into because those instructions are lacking. That's one thing DYNAM is, they're lacking in their instructions. I'm gonna grab the camera, okay, and we're gonna have to zoom in on this because I gotta show you this. So hold on to your lunch. You're gonna go flying for a minute. Woo! All right, now hopefully you're gonna be able to see. Okay, let me get you turned around here. And I'm trying to look at this. All right, that is the new generation of controller, okay? Now, do you see these little 2 positive, negative on the lights? Those are all lights, and there's also 2 down here that are hanging off, are hooked up. You have a choice. You can hook them up to these 2 here, and your lights are solid, or you can hook up the other 2 and your lights will strobe. It's entirely up to you. The gear are all these 3-channel, but they only have black and red, and they plug in here. They're labeled gear, and that's where you put the gear. This here, okay, this is goes into your gear channel, and this controls the lights and controls the gear. This is their new. Make sure I'm being able to see this. This is their new controller that makes them retracts so reliable. On the retracts now, when you look at the wires coming out, they no longer have a signal wire. They're just positive and negative, and that's what's getting plugged in there. And I think that's one of the reasons they were having a problem with that getting crossed up or something, and the retracts were starting to fail. Okay, now that's just direct signal, direct power. They just work based upon what this tells you. And this is a heck of a lot easier to swap out if it goes bad than having to dig out them retracts. Okay, this is a great idea. This is a great controller. Every time you got retracts now, DYNAM, these need to be included from that point on. And thank you. That definitely needs to be done. Everything, oh yeah, something else about this plane. They now have the ESCs you saw in the build. Okay, they now have the ESCs underneath the wing. with cooling vents. Okay. Hold on, we're getting there. We're not quite done yet. All right, I forgot to mention that. That's the page out of the free wing design. Okay, there's your ESC, both those ESCs with cooling vents. Before, okay, your ESCs were mounted inside here and they got like no cooling. You had to drill holes in the front of the plane, these gun ports, in order to get some cooling over your ESCs, and they were getting hot and they were getting burned out. So that's where DYNAM was paying attention. They said, okay, we need to fix that. Okay, this hatch fits on there nice and tight. The fit and finish on this plane is phenomenal. And I'm sorry, but it's a lot. This plane is a whole lot cheaper. If you were to buy this plane, well, this is the same, pretty much the same size and everything as the free wing version, that's Twin 70. And it's $499, $499, okay? This is what, $329, something like that? Heck of a lot cheaper, and I'm sorry, it's just as good. Now, thrust reverse would be nice, but the real one doesn't have thrust reverse, you know? Now, look at his gear. Nice and scale. Okay, now pay attention to how long it takes them to come down, because you have to consider that when you're going to line up for landing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give yourself 8 seconds to be conservative for that gear to come down. Folks, I gotta tell you, I'm sure I'm leaving some stuff out, but as far as a Maiden goes, and a Maiden, you know, / review, shouldn't be a review until I've flown the plane at least 10 times, but that's just my own benchmark. Oh yeah, flaps. We didn't talk about flaps. She did have a little bit of ballooning with flaps, but let me share my flap settings with you. And I found that these are just little outboard flaps, not the inboard, just the outboard. That's all they got. They seem to be very effective, especially on takeoff. All right, flaps up are 100% no mix. Okay, takeoff
flaps
are 0% with 1%. Actually, I don't have a mix at all. I can't see it. Yeah, I don't have a mix in. And then landing
flaps,
I have it 100%. So negative 100, 100, positive 100. And I think I'm really going to have to put in a little bit of down elevator, because she was ballooning on me. Not horrible. I could probably even get away with not doing it because you're coming down. But there you go. Well, folks, what else can I say? I rambled on for 20 minutes about this plane, and she's got a few minor drawbacks. Make sure when you buy this plane, please use my link. It's an affiliate link. I have a deal with Anthony, okay? He's just trying to get by, okay? He is trying to get his business off the ground, okay? And he said, hey, I'm gonna give you an affiliate link. You get 7% commission or whatever it is, 5%. I said, tell you what, Anthony, I sell any planes for you, you keep my commission. You keep it, and then every so often when you got a new plane or something you want to push or you're trying to sell, send me a plane. You know, it ain't gotta be a plane every month, just a plane every so often. And he said, okay, I can definitely do that, you know, or give me a discount on something. Now, this one, like I say, I paid for it because I traded. I'm gonna give you a little spoiler about what I got coming and what I'm gonna be showing on the channel. I got the new P61 Black Widow, the new version 3. Same foam, same control. It doesn't have that controller, but it's got very reliable gear. It's got this same foam, okay? Shiny. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I've never had that plane before. So I'm not ready to I haven't done the build and all that, on all that, you know, but I've already looked at the plane in the box. I've already unboxed it, and yeah. That plane, however, he didn't send me. That plane, I paid 100. He didn't know. I didn't talk to him. I didn't contact him. I just went on his site like a regular customer, and I paid full price for it, because I don't want any naysayers saying, oh, well, you're biased because you get the plane for free or a discount. That plane when I fly it, I paid 100% just like you do. So that's coming up in the next few weeks, maybe sooner. Depends on time and work and everything. But that's why I did that. All right, well, I've gone over the things I don't like. I've gone over the things I do like. I've stand here and talked to you. How y'all doing? All right, God bless y'all. And folks, this is the DYNAM ME262. And I tell you what, DYNAM keeps this kind of performance and quality up. They're gonna be putting E-Flight and Free Wing and all of them to shame. This is awesome. All right, folks, thank you for watching. God bless. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then DYNAM Warbirds, or jets. Bye. It's a Warbird. Oh yeah, and in the build, and in this one, there'll be a link, a Wikipedia information about the plane, about the history of the plane. It's really cool, first jet. Bye, y'all.